faithfully delivering value and interpreting great books from around the world. Hi, this is Sally from Sally's Book Talks. Today, I'll interpret the book Through the Valleys and Over the Mountains, subtitled A Financial Planning Guide for Women. Do you know any women like this? She's great at earning money, but not so good at managing it. Whenever financial planning comes up, she thinks it's all complex numbers she can't handle. Or she doesn't earn much but spends a ton. Lipsticks, bags, clothes, accessories, every single thing is super fancy. But she can't pay off her credit card debt each month. And some women leave their jobs to become full-time moms due to reasons like childcare. But if her husband changes his mind and wants a divorce, she immediately falls into financial trouble. How can women take control of their finances to secure their personal, family, and work lives? This is a question Amanda Steinberg, an American women's investment star coach, has been pondering. Amanda Steinberg was named by Forbes magazine as one of America's 21 new financial masters. The financial media and education platform she founded, Daily Worth, has been ranked among the top 100 best women's websites for 3 straight years. Steinberg wants to tell more women that financial health is a key choice for a better life. Women shouldn't feel anxious, ashamed, or scared to talk about money. Instead, they should master their finances to take charge of their lives. So, she wrote this book. In this book, she sums up essential financial knowledge for women and offers a set of investment plans tailored to different ages and risk tolerances.
Next, I'll break down the book into 2 parts. 1, what is the right financial mindset? 2, how to put this mindset into action. So,
First up, what is the correct financial mindset? This section covers the challenges women face in finance, common confusions, and how to build a big picture view of money management. Why did the author specifically write a financial guide for women? Because many women often feel lost when it comes to managing money. For example, when researching women's financial situations, she uncovered several common issues. The first doubt: I can't figure out how to handle my money. Will I mess everything up? Maybe I should just give up. This is a fear many women have, worrying about failing, so they stop before even starting. The author believes it's okay to feel scared. You can still take action. You can't avoid mistakes since everyone makes them. But the key is to bravely take that first step, test with small costs, and keep learning, researching, and practicing. The second doubt: what if someone asks me for money? This is also a problem many women face. You resolve to save, but lending money to family or friends derails the plan. The author advises that women learn to say no to others and balance their own priorities with others. For example, next time your sister asks for money and you're tight on cash, you can explain you don't have liquid funds now. Of course, this doesn't mean you can't help her. You can change your approach, like listening to her vent, asking why she's struggling, and if there are other solutions. The third doubt: I'm a stay-at-home wife. Do I need to manage finances too? The author believes that even stay-at-home wives need to actively join in family investments and fully understand the financial situation. And what's most urgent for stay-at-home wives is to open a retirement account. For example, in China, you can buy flexible employment insurance or urban-rural resident pension insurance to secure your future. The author's awareness stems largely from her own experiences. The author's mother earned a bachelor's degree in mathematics and physics in the 1960s. Like most women at the time, after graduating, her mother married her father and became a housewife. After over a decade of supporting her husband and raising children, the author's father asked for a divorce and quickly formed a new family. The author's mother, with her 3 daughters, immediately fell into a deep low. Through her own efforts, the author's mother overcame the hardship. She returned to university for graduate studies and started a new life at 42, working at the Philadelphia Stock Exchange. Her mother's experience taught the author life's first lesson: when life changes hit, others won't save you. You need independence and the ability to earn your own money. That's why Steinberg became a highly career-driven woman. She started her own company, bought the most impressive mansion, and lived a glamorous life. High income, but also high expenses. A big company requires substantial capital for operations. An impressive villa demands high mortgage payments, and its daily maintenance costs are steep. She had 2 children and hired a nanny to help, which meant money was needed everywhere. At that time, the author had no savings, no appreciating investments, not even an emergency fund. She thought working hard would solve everything, but her bills piled up, and the pressure mounted. During this period, her marriage also deteriorated, and she prepared to divorce her husband. The author realized money brought her not more choices or freedom, but immense anxiety and stress. She resolved to make a change. After divorcing, she moved with her 2 kids into a small apartment and traded her luxury car for an ordinary used vehicle and eliminated the hefty mortgage. After drastically cutting living expenses, the author discovered for the first time she could actually have cash. She achieved a balanced budget, freed herself from massive debt, and regained life control. From then on, she valued savings and investment accounts more than expensive mansions, luxury cars, clothes, or bags. And money, this became her second life lesson learned through experience. Thus, the author's wealth philosophy is: women must earn independently, prioritize saving and investing, and continually strengthen these skills. So how exactly should we manage money? Should we immediately cut spending while boosting income? Like skipping favorite snacks? Or avoiding new stylish clothes? Or consider options tone, or switching to higher paying work. The author believes we must first establish the right financial mindset. Budgeting and income are details. We need the big picture. Why? Because merely cutting budgets or raising income won't achieve sustainable finances. Success. Budget cutting, like dieting, is often done impulsively. Few sustain it long term. Income boosts might partially help, but without clear goals, earning more may just mean spending more. So, what is the big picture? The big picture boils down to 2 words: net worth. It's actually simple: total assets minus total liabilities. For instance, there's a young woman named Hannah who owns a small house bought with a loan worth $500,000, plus $2,000 in her emergency fund and $30,000 in her retirement account, bringing total assets to over $530,000. Hannah's liabilities include mortgage, credit card debt, and student loans from college, totaling over $510,000. Subtract liabilities from assets. Hannah's net worth is $17,000. Net worth is crucial. Your entire financial security depends on it. Because net worth gives a comprehensive view of your finances and informs decisions. Why cut budgets? Why increase income? Let's analyze Hannah's financial situation together. Her positive net worth shows financial health, but the amount is small, only $17,000, leaving significant room for improvement. Hannah's main assets are a house, retirement account, and minimal emergency fund. Her liabilities mainly comprise 3 categories: mortgage, credit card debt from daily spending, and student loans. Short term, Hannah must quickly boost her emergency fund. $2,000 can't handle any crisis. The author believes emergency funds should cover at least 1 month's expenses, ideally 3. Hannah's spending should alarm her. Her $15,000 credit card debt indicates high daily expenses. Frequent travel or dining at hotspots might hinder paying student loans and mortgage. So Hannah needs stricter spending discipline. Long term, her mortgage and student loans will be paid off, the house will appreciate, and her degree will increase earnings. Thus, her net worth will grow, but Hannah should pursue career breakthroughs. Maintaining current income won't significantly boost it. So, positive net worth is good, but it doesn't guarantee security. It depends on 2 factors. First, whether the asset foundation is solid, meaning having stable or appreciating assets. And second, whether liquid cash can handle sudden risks. Kate is a perfect example. Kate, 35 years old, is one of the high-income earners. She makes $250,000 a year and lives in a luxury apartment worth $1.02. So, what's her financial situation? Aside from the apartment, Kate has a car worth $30,000, $50,000 in her retirement account, but only $3,000 in her emergency fund, totaling assets around $1.28. Kate also has significant liabilities: mortgage, credit card debt, student loans from college, and a car loan. Kate's total liabilities are about $1.08, so her net worth is $200,000. Although Kate's net worth is much higher than Hannah's we mentioned earlier, her risk is significantly greater. Um, for someone earning $250,000 a year, her emergency fund is only $3,000 and her credit card debt is as high as $40,000, indicating she spends all her monthly income. um, she's a typical paycheck to paycheck spender. Although Kate's home value is high, her liabilities are also substantial. With a $960,000 mortgage, it means she pays $5,000 in loan payments each month. In the short term, she has almost no ability to handle any risks. If she loses her job, her emergency fund isn't enough to cover the mortgage. If it takes 3 months or longer to find a job, she might be forced to sell her only asset, her house. Long term, Kate hasn't provided any security for her future. Her retirement account has only $50,000, and she has no other investment projects. So, focusing on net worth isn't just about increasing income and cutting budgets. It's also about looking long term to see if there's a foundation for long term security. A growing retirement account and a house with a decreasing mortgage are key to net worth. Plus, focusing on current job stability and having enough cash to handle sudden risks. All right, that's the content of part one. What is the correct financial mindset for women? It's about earning your own money and prioritizing savings and investments. Financial management values net worth, which is total assets minus total liabilities. With the right financial mindset and understanding the key concept of net worth, how do we make net worth grow over time to truly provide security for ourselves? How to put this financial mindset into practice to steadily increase net worth. The author believes increasing net worth mainly involves two aspects: long term and short term. Long term, we need to solidify our financial foundation by increasing long term asset value. Short term, we must ensure sufficient cash flow to pay off debts and maintain normal living. Let's start with long term. You might wonder why we prioritize the long term foundation. After all, assets are funded by current income. Shouldn't I focus on current income before future assets? Actually, the author deliberately approaches it this way. If you start with income, then budget, save what you cut, and finally invest savings. It's hard to ensure enough cash to secure your future, even retirement life, because you leave it last. Starting with assets sets a clear goal. Guided by this goal, you'll be motivated to steadily grow long-term assets. To boost long-term asset value, which accounts count as long-term assets that solidify your financial foundation? There are four main types: retirement accounts, stock investment accounts, real estate, and your own business.
These share one trait. They can't become cash immediately, but bring substantial returns over time. So, should everyone have them?
Not necessarily. The author advises allocating based on personality and risk tolerance. First is retirement accounts, recommended for everyone. In the US, pension insurance isn't mandatory. Employees decide monthly deductions for retirement accounts.
In fact, Americans' retirement savings rates are low. 1/3 have zero savings, with women faring worse overall.
Per U.S. Department of Labor, only 44% of working women contribute to retirement accounts, with smaller amounts than men. Women with under $10,000 to retirement accounts make up 2/3, versus half for men. And men are twice as likely as women to have over $200,000 in retirement accounts. The author encourages women to prioritize focusing on retirement accounts, as this provides more security for future retirement life. So, how much should one save in a retirement account? The author has a simple calculation method. Suppose you want to receive 60,000 yuan in retirement annually, retire at age 60, and enjoy 35 years of retirement. ALSET. Considering inflation, by age 60, you'll need approximately 1.68 million yuan in retirement savings. For example, the author set a goal of $2 million for herself. How much do you want to set for yourself? Although China has a pension insurance system, the pension replacement rate is currently declining year by year. Pension replacement rate refers to the ratio of monthly pension received after retirement to pre-retirement wage income. Over 20 years, it has dropped from over 70% to around 46%. And, this means that if your pre-retirement monthly salary was 10,000 yuan, your pension would only be 4,600 yuan, and it might be even lower in the future. And but your post-retirement living expenses will rise with inflation. So it's likely that your needed living expenses after retirement will be much higher than your monthly pension. You also need to set a retirement goal for yourself. Of course, this goal doesn't need to be achieved immediately, but it can help increase your awareness of saving. You'll consciously work towards this goal by saving money into dedicated accounts for retirement or purchasing financial products like annuity insurance. The second long-term asset to allocate is investment, which the author recommends for most people. With inflation, money constantly depreciates. Keeping it in savings accounts earns little interest, but proper investments can gradually accumulate assets. Many people think of stock trading when mentioning investment. The stock market has risks. If a bear market hits, you could lose everything. What then?
So, how exactly should one invest?
Buy low? Sell high? The author learned the hard way about buying low and selling high. When she first bought stocks, she chose Ford, but a week later, Ford's stock dropped 30%, so she quickly sold and lost $700. But in the long run, Ford's stock has more than quintupled. So the real issue was that the author didn't understand at the time. It takes long-term persistence for investments to yield returns. The author believes buying low and selling high carries significant risks, as stock prices are influenced by many uncertain factors like competition, new technologies, market conditions, and global environments. Over the past 80 years, the average annual return of the U.S. stock market has been about 10%. However, returns vary greatly for individual stocks. For ordinary investors wanting to enter the market, a good approach is choosing a suitable target. Holding it long-term and investing in index funds is a solid choice. Index funds are collections of various stocks. For example, the U.S. S&P 500 index tracks the top 500 companies' stocks. In China, similar indices include the SSE 50 or CSI 300. Warren Buffett also recommends this approach. Buffett specifically stated in his will that the majority of his estate should buy the S&P 500 index. Of course, entering the market always involves risk. The author suggests creating an investment portfolio. Besides higher-risk stocks, include relatively stable bonds. For instance, government bonds carry very low risk. Along with cash products, like certificates of deposit, diversification protects against downside risks while capturing upside gains. This portfolio mix can be flexibly adjusted. Simply put, the younger you are and farther from retirement, the more risk you can take. While the older and closer to retirement, the less risk you should bear. Your personal risk tolerance should also be a key consideration. This means you can't just set your portfolio once and forget it. The author advises, if you're 25, allocate 90% stocks and 10% bonds. At 45, allocate 80% stocks and 20% bonds. But at 55, nearing retirement, reduce risk, 60% stocks and 40% bonds. The third long-term asset is real estate. This asset isn't for everyone. The author urges acting within your means. But for pleasure seekers, buying property can passively enforce investment. In today's rising housing markets, both in China and the US, many young people feel they must buy property. But they must realize that for years after purchasing, they don't truly own the home. They're working for the bank, bearing massive monthly loans. So, should we spend everything to buy a house? The author advises against it. Her first home was an impressive villa, but the huge mortgage and upkeep overwhelmed her. After divorcing, she moved out of the villa into a small apartment. For aspiring buyers, the author recommends staying within your means and starting with smaller units. Before buying, thoroughly assess your payment capacity and loan options. Banks may approve loans, but that doesn't mean you can actually afford repayments. The author suggests fully evaluating your debt repayment ability and reserving funds for future loans.
If you empty your wallet to buy, can you make monthly payments later?
If loans max out your income, where will money for renovations or maintenance come from? These are critical questions. Before deciding, ensure either strong appreciation potential or plans to live there greater than or equal to 10 years. Otherwise, it won't boost your net worth. Because early repayments mostly cover interest, barely reducing principal. So is not buying okay? Absolutely. If delaying purchase, the author still urges saving. Ask peers their monthly mortgage payment. While they pay banks, you save that amount. The fourth long-term investment, starting a business. This isn't for everyone, only those with interest and capability. Entrepreneurship carries high risks. Validating business models, reaching customers, achieving profit growth, securing funding. Each step is hard and could end your venture, but undoubtedly, successful entrepreneurship creates immense personal value and wealth. So if you want to start a business, you need an exceptionally strong drive. The author founded Daily Worth because she wanted to use her investment skills to help more women. Now that we've covered how to increase long-term asset value, let's shift focus to the present. How to ensure healthy cash flow right now. Considering cash flow essentially means managing cash inflows and outflows. Inflows mainly refer to career income, while outflows are consumption. Understanding your career income is key to ensuring healthy cash flow, because your career income must not only cover current expenses but also invest in your future foundation. So, are you earning income that matches your abilities? You can ask peers or consult headhunters to understand your position. What's the market salary level? Does your current income reach the median level? Or have you achieved a higher than market salary? If you believe you're highly capable, but your salary doesn't match, then you should consider negotiating a raise with your boss or looking for a new job. After reviewing income, next is to review your spending. Where do you spend money most often? How much are your fixed expenses, like mortgage, car loan, living costs, phone bills? And how much do you spend on enjoyment, like buying clothes, lipsticks, dining out, traveling? Spending can bring pleasure, but it also brings bills. If you can't keep spending below income and live within your means, you won't be able to fund your long-term assets. So, it's time to deeply organize your spending habits. Which expenses should stop, which should stay, and how to avoid overspending. I'll summarize the author's advice into 5 points. First suggestion: cancel unnecessary recurring payments. The author suggests opening your recent spending records and picking out subscriptions you no longer use but keep getting charged for. For example, a VIP membership on a video site or a premium card on a shopping site, then cancel the auto pay. Second suggestion: write down what you bought in the past 3 days with prices, then compare with spending records. The purpose is to see which items you bought and then completely forgot about. This review helps you know if your purchases are impulse buys. Third suggestion: weekend zero spending. Women love weekend shopping. The author suggests trying zero spending weekends. For example, from 5 p.m. Friday to 4 p.m. Sunday. Only do free activities. Visit parks instead of movies. Cook at home instead of dining out. The zero spending weekend helps break shopping addiction. Fourth suggestion, change spending habits.
For example, stop using credit cards and switch to cash. It lets you set strict limits, since it's gone when spent.
Or shop alone instead of with friends, since peer pressure encourages unnecessary purchases. Also adjust shopping times. If you usually shop at night, try evening activities like movies or exercise instead. Reschedule shopping or skip it entirely. Fifth suggestion, pick 4 spending indulgences you can't live without, like shoes, clothes, weekend dining, or a gaming set. Because depriving yourself completely feels restrictive and miserable, making you want to abandon financial plans. Keep these 4 indulgences untouched while gradually cutting other expenses. Finally, the author urges regular net worth tracking and record keeping. For example, what's your monthly income? How much are you saving monthly? What are essential fixed costs versus discretionary spending? What's your current net worth?
And how much is left?
The ultimate goal is steadily growing net worth. All right, that concludes part 2. To steadily grow net worth, focus on long-term asset appreciation and robust short-term cash flow. Long-term assets include retirement accounts, investment portfolios, real estate, and business ventures. For strong cash flow, track income and spending, maximize earnings, matching your abilities, and avoid overspending. As the saying goes, money isn't everything, but without it, nothing is possible, especially for women. Should you settle? Should you settle for an unhappy marriage, working in an unhappy environment? A solid financial foundation can bring more choices. The author hopes every woman can decide what she wants and doesn't want in life, and control her own destiny. Okay, we've walked through valleys and seen mountains. That's the end of our interpretation. Notes are below the audio, and we'll see you tomorrow.